Hello there and welcome to Literally Literature. I'm your host, Matty, and today we're diving into J.B. Priestley's compelling play, An Inspector Calls. Joining me is my good friend Dave from Yorkshire. How are you doing today, Dave?
I am right grand, Matty. Been looking forward to this one. An Inspector Calls is a proper good play with layers deeper than a Yorkshire pudding, if you know what I mean.
That it is. Written in 1945 but set in 1912, this play is absolutely fascinating in how it tackles social inequality. The timing is crucial. Priestley deliberately set it before the First World War, when the rigid class structure was still firmly in place.
Aye, that's spot on. The Burling family represents that upper middle class that thought they were untouchable. Mr. Burling with his every man for himself nonsense. It's exactly what Priestley was criticising about capitalism, innit?
Absolutely. And the stage directions are brilliant for showing this. Did you notice how at the beginning the stage directions call for pink and intimate lighting? It creates this false sense of security and comfort for the Burlings during their celebration.
Oh, I love that bit. Then when the inspector arrives, the stage directions say the lighting should become brighter and harder, like he's shining a harsh light on all the secrets. Proper clever symbolism, that is.
The staging tells us so much. The Burlings start in this cosy bubble, thinking they're above reproach, and then the inspector methodically breaks it down. Even the dining room setting shows how they're separated from the rest of society, living in their privileged bubble.
Let's talk about the inspector himself. What a character! The way he interrogates each family member, stern, uncompromising, almost supernatural in how he knows exactly what questions to ask.
He's described in the stage directions as creating an impression of massiveness, solidity, and purposefulness. Even though he need not be a big man, it's his presence, his authority that counts. And his interrogation style is methodical. He tackles them one by one, breaking down their defences.
That's right. And he uses proper psychological tactics, showing them the photograph one at a time, never letting two of them see it together. He's like this moral force that won't let them escape responsibility.
Speaking of responsibility, let's talk about gender in the play. Eva Smith is portrayed as this modern woman who stands up for herself, asking for better wages, rejecting Gerald when he tries to make her his mistress, yet she's punished at every turn.
Aye, the lass didn't stand a chance. The men in the play treat women as property. Mr. Burling sacking her for asking for better wages, Gerald using her as his mistress, Eric getting her pregnant and abandoning her.
And even the women. Mrs. Burling refusing to help Eva because she used the name Burling. Pure class snobbery there. But I think Sheila's character shows hope for the future. She genuinely feels remorse and wants to change.
That's a good point about Sheila. She represents the younger generation that might learn from these mistakes. She's the only one who still feels guilty, even after they learn the inspector might be a fraud.
That generational divide is crucial. The younger characters, Sheila and Eric, are capable of change, while the older generation, Mr. and Mrs. Burling, go right back to their old ways once they think they've escaped consequences.
The historical context makes it even more powerful. Priestley fought in World War I and saw firsthand what happens when society doesn't take responsibility for each other. He wrote this just after World War II, basically saying, look, we've had 2 world wars now because of this selfish thinking.
Exactly. When the inspector says his final lines about how, if men will not learn that lesson, then they will be taught it in fire and blood and anguish, he's literally talking about the war as the audience has just lived through.
It's dead clever how he uses a mystery play format to deliver what's really a social message. And that ending, when they get the call about a real girl dying and a real inspector coming, it's like saying those who don't learn from history are doomed to repeat it.
I couldn't agree more, Dave. The play might be set in 1912, but its message about social responsibility, equality, and how our actions affect others is timeless. That's why it's still performed and studied today.
Well, I reckon we've covered the main points. The inequality themes, the brilliant stage directions, the inspector's role, and those important social messages. Any final thoughts, Matty?
Just that an inspector calls reminds us that we're all connected. As the inspector says, we don't live alone. We are members of one body. We are responsible for each other. In today's divided world, that message is more important than ever.
Couldn't agree more myself. And that's our time for today on Literally Literature. Thanks for listening, folks.
Thanks for joining us. If you enjoyed this episode, please subscribe and join us next time for another deep dive into a literary classic. Until then, remember, we're all responsible for each other. Goodbye.